My name is EPate, and this is my final review presentation. So to begin this sequence of assignments, we were tasked with generating 18 different contour drawings of one of our hands, using a variety of mediums ranging from graphite to charcoal as well as pen. The development of these 3 drawings allowed for the investigation of the ideas of things such as form and contour, specifically of the hand itself, and less so of ideas such as space and volume, which were 2 ideas which would become much more prevalent in our thinking in the assignments that would come later on. Following the completion of the 18 hand studies, we were tasked with selecting one of the drawings to serve as the basic creative inspiration for a 3-dimensional wire hand model. The shift from 2 to 3 dimensions between these 2 assignments meant that greater thought had to be given to both the scale and proportion of the model. Our next assignment was to translate the 3-dimensional qualities of the wire model we had made onto paper while under the influence of light. This assignment was the first instance of the sequence where we were forced to consider how the influence of light impacts the composition's form as well as the environment it inhabits. From there, we took the 2 drawings we had made in Illustrator, where we used a series of layered regulating lines in order to visualize the hand and its geometries within the space of the bounding box. This exercise allowed for the consideration of the hand's positioning relative to the bounding frame, as well as the proportion of the frame itself. Moving away from the hand, we turned our attention towards the bounding box itself, which began with rough sketches in our journals of things such as the frame and corner joints. Using the ideas created from the sketches in our journal, we then modeled 4 different corner joints within Rhino. These 4 different joints were then modeled physically using basswood. The next step was then to begin modeling and prototyping a box design within the Rhino environment. The design you see here is an earlier design that I had that I ended up using throughout the rest of the assignment sequence. In addition to this, we were also tasked with generating a set of instructions that clearly showcased the assembly of the frame we had created. These instructions were also accompanied by a 12-step GIF. Once the design of our box had been finalized, we turned our attention towards the introduction of the vellum cladding into our models. The primary focus was to determine how we could continue to evolve the design through the addition of the cladding. The role of the cladding is really to curate the viewing experience of the hand and the box together, as well as structure the views into and throughout the assembly. Following the evaluation of the cladding, we generated a series of section cuts through the assembly in order to evaluate the form and spatial qualities of the composition. The final step in the process was to design and develop a cube-like viewing space and a pedestal which could both house the box assembly and influence one's interaction with it. The next few slides are a series of images I took from Rhino showcasing my viewing space, pedestal, bounding frame, and a scale figure for reference. Here I also have a series of images showcasing just the pedestal by itself along with the scale figure. I have here also a series of terms pulled from my design glossary that I believe to be relevant to this assignment sequence. Terms such as symmetry, alignment, and order refer more so to the physical model of my box, whereas a term such as transparency is an idea that I kept in my mind throughout the entirety of the design process. And finally, I have a series of images showcasing the final product, my finished bounding box with the hand and vellum cladding under the influence of light. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions or comments about the work, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. Thank you.